Benjamin Moore's Edgecomb Gray versus Revere Pewter. Let's take these two colors and have them fight to the death. Or at least compare them. I'm James from thepaintpeople.com, and this is Color Clash, where we take two colors and compare them. The end result here isn't necessarily to pick a winner, but I can tell from the comment section that a lot of people out there have a tough time picking between these two particular colors. Personally, I don't blame you. They're very similar colors that can be used in pretty similar situations. I want to go through them in detail so you will be empowered to choose one or the other. Upon first glance, you'll notice that both colors seem to be in that ever so popular gray-beige category of colors. When you put them next to a clear, creamy beige color, they may appear more gray, and vice versa. Right next to something like Gray Owl, their warm components will begin to come through more prominently. Not only are they in the same family of colors, but they're also on the same color chip. In fact, they're right next to each other, HC 172 and 173. This may lead you to believe that one is simply a lighter or darker version of the other. I feel that's a good place to start right there and compare each color's depth. Technically speaking, Revere Pewter has the lower LRV and therefore is deemed as the darker color of the two. You're looking at roughly a 9 LRV difference, which may seem negligible, but in practicality, it does have a noticeable difference. Typically speaking, I tend to favor lighter colors for darker areas because they will reflect and therefore introduce more light to brighten up a space. And Edgecomb Gray just sits on that threshold of being a mid-tone color that's light enough to be used throughout an entire house. It will ultimately have a touch more added versatility than Revere Pewter because of that fact. But that being said, Revere Pewter isn't far behind on the flexibility department. In fact, Revere Pewter is one of the most widely used Benjamin Moore colors, especially in the mid-tone category, and it's because of its balance between gray, taupe, beige, and a touch of red. Other than the difference in depth, it's that little bit of red that differentiates Revere Pewter from Edgecomb Gray. You might say to yourself, okay, the room I'm painting gets a ton of light, so I'll just go with Revere Pewter. Or the opposite might be true. Maybe you have a darker basement, so Edgecomb Gray would be the better choice in this situation. It really becomes a little more complicated when you start to take each color's undertones into account, because although they seem the same, there are more differences than you think. It's only when you put them side by side that you start to see Edgecomb Gray has more of an apparent yellow warmth, which is further accentuated because of how much lighter it is as a color. Because both colors have that bit of beige and gray, they can have a tendency to sometimes show a tiny green undertone, but not enough to take away from them feeling like true grayish colors. Start by taking a good look at your own decor. If you can't really notice any apparent colors popping out at you, and everything seems to be rather muted and neutral, then there's a good chance you might be okay with either color. Odds are, I would be more likely to recommend Revere Pewter in rooms that incorporate more taupes, and Edgecomb Gray when there's more creams and beige present. One of my most typical use cases for the two colors together is to have Edgecomb Gray as an all over the house main color in the more open areas like hallways and open living dining rooms, and then you can slot Revere Pewter in as a complementary color for the more cozier areas like bedrooms, maybe some bathrooms, because of its added pigment and depth. It also makes Revere Pewter the better accent color compared to even lighter neutrals like classic gray or pale oak. It's tough to pick a winner here because both colors are so popular for very good reasons. I guess the only real winner in this case would be you, whether you pick one or the other. Edgecomb Gray does a slightly better job in some areas, and the same goes for Revere Pewter. So if you're stuck between these two colors, just take into account the amount of light that's getting into that room, whether you want to use it all over or just on a portion of a room in the form of an accent, or whether your interior decorating favors yellows or red-based warmth. If you need even more information on these colors, we did episodes of Color Code on each one, which you can check out here and here. If you like Edgecomb Gray, hit that thumbs up. And if you like Revere Pewter, hit that subscribe button. When in doubt, test them out. You can pick up a tester in the link down below. See you on the next one.